Hi there. I'm coming today to talk to you very candidly about a topic that I think is uber important that perhaps we haven't talked about here in this group or in this mode before. But I just got off a call recently with a client that surfaced brought up a very, I think, important point. And I think something for us to dive deeper into. And it just made me realize that I think this topic is worth talking about, and that is mindset. Um, so we were discussing, she's following the metabolic balance plan, and she's had some great success that she has figured out on her own how to shift her beliefs and her mindset. And it was a very simple exercise that I think is worthy of sharing. But first, I'm hoping that we can just lay a little bit of foundation and understand that our our beliefs, our thoughts shape our actions, which then shape our behaviors, and then our destiny and our character. So oftentimes these repetitive thoughts happen subconsciously, the conversations that we have with ourselves day in and day out. Oftentimes it's said there's varying degrees of what percentages actually is the same conversation over and over, but the vast majority of the conversation is 80% and up is the same thoughts repeated over and over again. So the other statistic is that there's about 60,000 thoughts that cross your mind every day, and they happen on a subconscious level. So the strongest and most important conversation that we have is the one that we have with ourselves. And oftentimes this goes unchecked. It's this like unruly little monkey. If you have studied yoga or meditation, we often refer to the unorganized and untrained mind as a monkey because it does monkey things. It, is just all over the place. It's untamed and really without cause. There's no direction. So if we allow that to happen, um, our thoughts become the same way, and so do our results. They're just kind of haphazard, the same as the way that we are thinking. So by tuning in to the conversations that we have with ourselves, I believe is uber important. And this may be an exercise that you can do, perhaps if you do some journaling, or if you just want to take some introspective time and meditate. I do find it's very helpful if you actually write this stuff down. It brings it to the surface, allows you to formulate it in a thought process, makes you aware of it, and then you can write it down. The exercise is really quite simple, is to take a look at, you can start with taking a look at what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. And then, look at what's holding you back, or the limiting beliefs that you yourself may have around this particular item. So if it's about health, if that's what we're talking about today, it could be about relationships, careers, where you live, um, why you can't achieve a specific goal. Examine what you're saying to yourself. Take a look at the repetitive thought patterns, and you'll know them right off the top of your mind. Because you have this conversation inside of your head, it's on autopilot all day long, every day. And even if it's below the surface, there's a thread in there about what your beliefs are. So the exercise would be take a look or list the things that you think are your limiting beliefs and write them all down in every aspect that you have, or start with the major ones where you're feeling tripped up or stuck, or where you're not accomplishing your goals. So the idea is write down the limiting beliefs, the ones that are repeating over and over in your mind again, and then take a look at them. And in opposition, what you can do is make a case for the complete opposite of the story that you're telling yourself. You can cross out your limiting belief and write bullshit if you want. I think it's helpful to cross it out and ixnay, like scratch out that energy and re-infuse the energy with the positive, which is the complete opposite. So if you were in a debate, stand up for what you think is complete opposite of what your limiting belief is. So write them out. Maybe there's 10 different points, so that you can actually understand your limiting belief is not true. It's just a concreted and repetitive track that you've made very deep in your subconscious mind. It's kind of like when you're pulling into your driveway that is covered in snow and you don't shovel it, you're just taking that same path in and out and in and out. Those tracks get deeper and deeper and deeper over time. So in order for the car to pull in and not use those tracks, you have to take a different path, or you have to shovel the shit out. You have to shovel the snow off so that you can take a different route into your driveway. So that's my crazy analogy of entrenched behaviors that are not supporting. So that's my suggestion for you today, to take a look at your limiting beliefs, stand up for the opposite, and then maybe ask yourself, like, who would you be? Who would you be without those limiting beliefs? What does that look like? What does your life look like? Who are you as a person when you don't have that limiting belief? And let it pour out. Like, what does it look like if you didn't hold on to that bullshit belief? Because really it is bullshit, and it's our mind that is entraining us to our actions. So if we want to change our behavior, we must upgrade our identity and how we see ourselves. So how that starts is, first of all, recognizing the limiting beliefs and then shifting them into something more positive and entraining the mind. All of this to say, my sweet client, this was such a beautiful thing that she has shared that's been so effective for her. So what she has done is she has looked at things in her life that she used to associate pleasure with, and thinking she was giving herself a treat. And I'm sure we can all relate to this. I've used this analogy in my coaching practice in a different way, but the simplicity of this, I just love, and I thought it was so worthy of sharing. So in her case, what she used to associate with pleasure and a treat was things like wine, sugar, overeating, or eating anything maybe that she wanted. Pleasure equaled chocolate, chips, and popcorn. Those are things she found great pleasure in. But what she realized was those things were actually derailing her and causing her pain in many other ways, from whether that's from excess weight, brain fog, poor sleep, feeling like crap about yourself, beating yourself up, and not allowing her to get to her health goals. So she reframed this. She reframed this into the things that actually cause her pleasure or give her pleasure is better sleep, being trim, having energy, having more confidence, feeling sexy, feeling rested, being healthy, feeling happy and excited about life. So those are the results that she was getting when she omitted the things that she thought were pleasure, but were actually causing her pain. So what she did, she flipped the switch. She flipped it up. So the things that she associated with pleasure, the wine, the sugar, and the overeating, and the popcorn and the chocolate, she now associated that these items cause pain. I would much rather feel the pleasure of feeling good, waking up with energy, feeling sexy, confident, slim, trim, fit, clear mind. So that now, and she's had a list and she sent it to me today, and I think I'll post it here. If I'm sure many of you can relate to these things, you can add your own items to this list, the things that cause you pain, but you are actually associating pleasure with. So let's see if we can flip the switch today for you on some items to help you get to what your goal is. I'll link it here below. I'll see what I can create for you so that you can use this template, which is, I think, so simple. And I'm not going to reveal any names who this came from, but if you're watching, thank you so much. This is such a beautiful and direct way to have a visual. So what she's done is she's printed this out. It's in a Word document, and she looks at it all the time. It's in her office. It's maybe on her desktop. So you too can do the same thing, just to remind you of what really creates pleasure. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit further, because I believe there's so much magic in following pleasure, how that leads to so much more prosperity, passion, purpose. There's so much intertwined into pleasure, but I think it starts by having a really clear and realistic understanding of what truly does bring you pleasure. So that may be something to gnaw on and to examine within yourself. If you have any questions, feel free, DM me, drop in the comments below, schedule a time to talk if you need to. I'm here. This is my jam. I love supporting women. It's become my quest to help empower women to live their life full of purpose, passion, and pleasure, and to feel great in their bodies, in their minds, and in their lives. So I'd be happy if you'd like to share your comments, what things or triggers that you are going to flip the switch on. So I'm sending you much love today, and I wish you much pleasure as you go forward. Bye for now.